distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is my singular honor to have this conversation with you this morning to reflect on catalyzing impactful collaboration between government and faith-based communities in South Africa. Reverend John Langalbalele Dube, it was not a coincidence that the ANC was born in the church. The ANC as its umbilical cord buried in the church, as it was founded at the Vaihoek Wesleyan Church in Bloemfontein in 1912. When the founders of the ANC looked around as to whom could be entrusted with the mantle of inaugural president, the Lord fell on none other than the Reverend John Langalbalele Dube. It was no coincidence, therefore, that the anthem of the ANC became the hymn Nkosi Sikelel' Africa. The relationship between the African National Congress and faith-based communities was further forged in the fiery furnaces of the liberation struggle and became the bond that shaped the moral compass of our struggle for many decades. Throughout our liberation struggle, we have neither been under any illusion about the magnitude of the task of building a democratic society that is truly non-racial, truly non-sexist, and prosperous. This remains the core objective of South Africa we seek to build, working together with all progressive forces and organs of civil society that share our vision for the future. However, we are alive to the reality that is the ANC. We cannot achieve that working in a silo. No political party can conceivably achieve that working in a silo, as every country must find expression in the various endeavors, dreams, talents, and determination of its people. The moral fiber that glues a nation together must come from such a determination by the people in their concept of what is culture, tradition, beliefs, and social values. This cannot be imposed by any political party. If anything, duty of the governing party, of a political party, is to ensure that there is broad legal and institutional framework for such determination by the people to find expression. We overlap sometimes. We call others, refer to us as a ruling party, but we are a governing party. At any stage, you will realize that it's actually more difficult to keep the power than to wage a liberation war. This is Oliver Tambo. Therefore, 30 years into our democracy, we have confronted the sins of incumbency head on, and we continue to do so, albeit in evolving political landscape. The outcome of May 2024 general elections plunged the ANC into uncharted waters. Having received 40% of the vote, our National Executive Committee then characterized this as a significant setback. In considering our options, we had to find an outcome that prioritizes South Africa, both in terms of ensuring stability, but also continuing with the transformation of the country and the economy for the benefit of all South Africans. We did not have one option on the table, we had many. And we chose GNU because we wanted to collaborate with everyone. As the party with the largest votes, we managed to seize both the tactical and strategic initiative. We shaped the narrative about the need for political parties to work together in setting up an inclusive, viable, and stable government that will address people's needs and advance the transformation agenda. Indeed, not everyone agrees with the option to establish government of national unity. And we respect the different views. We respect their right to disagree with us on both policy and tactics in the choices we make in advancing our political agenda. Within 14 days, we managed to set up a government in this country. And we didn't delay like other countries for a year, 10 years to set up a government and all of that. We accepted our fate that we lost. And we are the largest party. We need to work with everybody. And we came with a government of national unity. Unlike a coalition, the government of national unity is more inclusive form of government that brings and its people first. The first important step we took was to draft the statement of intent, which outlined basically our political and ideological trajectory in seeking to implement our elections manifesto. By so doing, we put aside the cosmetic posture of who will be party to the GNU, but rather the substantive issues of national transformation. Those that accepted the ANC statement of intent and signed on the dotted line based on the appreciation that the ANC's foresight in choosing this path promises the best outcomes for our people and the country. We equally understand that we cannot solve tomorrow's problems with yesterday's tactics, or even worse, the very tactics that would have consistently failed us, and must therefore be at the cutting edge of fresh ideas that must give birth to new solutions to ever-evolving societal challenges. It is for that very reason that think tanks like the Institute for Global Engagement play an invaluable role in shaping not only our public discourse, but the very essence of public policy that gives practical expression to dreams and aspirations of our people. The foundations of a society we envision was laid down in 1994, when the founding father of our democracy, President Mandela, at his inauguration said these profound words, I quote, "Today all of us do by our presence here and by our celebrations in other parts of the country and the world confer glory and hope to newborn liberty. Out of the experience of an extraordinary human disaster that lasted for too long, must be born a society of which all humanity will be proud. Our daily deeds as ordinary South Africans must produce an actual South African reality that will reinforce humanity's belief in justice, strengthen its confidence in the nobility of the human soul, and sustain all our hopes for glorious life for all," close quote. President Mandela's words continue to serve as a lodestar in our efforts to ensure that a better life for all becomes a lived reality of all South Africa across the racial and political divide. This is a commitment that is encoded in our National Development Plan, Vision 2030, which continues to guide every intervention by state and all its organs. Ours are deeply religious communities, and therefore an integral part of faith communities. Because of this reality, faith communities have played a significant and meaningful role in the fight against discrimination. These continue to play a big role in efforts to realize moral regeneration and tackle heinous scourges such as violence against women and children, gender-based violence and femicide, proliferation of drugs in our schools and communities, rampant lawlessness and abuse of the elderly, amongst the many ills besetting our society. Collaboration between government and faith-based communities is not only a necessary condition to build just and morally astute society, but also serve as an important building block in ensuring that public policy is grounded on the interest of the people. The ANC has its own chaplaincy, whose mandate is to provide spiritual guidance and counseling to leaders and structures of the ANC. This is premised on the appreciation of the role of faith communities in building a just and caring society, keeping leadership moral compass in check at all times. It is therefore imperative that initiative to catalyze networks of leaders in government, religion, and academia across SADC region be supported both in words and deeds. The time is now to explore new paradigms of cross-sectoral collaboration, working closely with faith communities. The evolution of the Southern African Development Community and the governance challenges of the region cannot be contextualized outside the historical backdrop of the frontline states and their role in the liberation of South Africa and Namibia, while serving as a bulwark against the apartheid state. The legacy of destabilization of the region left behind in the wake of the defeat of the apartheid state through its proxies remains an intractable challenge that continues to feed latter-day political dynamics, fueled by external forces determined to influence the political fortunes. Despite these challenges, tremendous progress has been made in improving governance, fighting crime, and tackling corruption. However, challenges loom large in efforts to build cohesive societies premised on shared values. We continue to experience challenges in deepening democracy. We must all appreciate that the fortunes of the region are intertwined and require collective and decisive efforts. We have no doubt that the collaboration efforts driven by the Institute will enable us to transcend traditional forms of leadership and help us conceptualize new and innovative solutions. As the ANC, it remains our desire to take along the mass of our people in all political endeavors. For this reason, we have fully supported the calls by President Mbeki that there must be a national dialogue to converse on various challenges facing our country. This alone is acknowledgement that ultimately it is about the mass of our people. It is about their welfare spiritually, economically, culturally, and so forth. We believe that the faith communities will make immense contribution to the success of the national dialogue as we evaluate the social, political, and economic compass of where we are headed to and deal with the challenges that may threaten to derail us from the injunction and promise of our Constitution in healing the divisions of the past, not just in words, but crucially in the lived experiences of our people, economically and socially. In conclusion, I wish you well in your deliberations, and we look forward to ongoing engagements with you and benefit from the outcomes of this engagement. And we believe that we as leaders too, we do need the reconstruction and development program of the soul. And that is what is important. And we appreciate being here to exchange ideas and at the same time engage, to be listened to and to listen is very much important. It's a pity I didn't hear Herman Mashaba speaking, and I would have loved to, to listen to him. We have had our own differences in the past, but we are not enemies. We are just opponents. And that is what South Africa's democracy make it vibrant and exceptional to many. Thank you very much.
There you go. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Our MC has gone missing. And there you go. Right. And thank you for those powerful words. And I think what we've just experienced and heard this morning has been extremely challenging from the different sources. And also knowing the wealth of the ruling party being birthed in a church. And, the first leader being a pastor, and then the responsibility that we have where we find ourselves in these days. So thank you for those words, Mr. Fikile, Mbalula. We appreciate you. Thank you for your presence. And then for the speakers that were here, Mr. Herman Mashaba as well. His wife is in ICU, so he's had to shoot off to the hospital. And we're going to take a break. We're going to take, how long, Jan? 30 minutes. We're going to have a 30-minute tea break, and please meet one another, connect with one another, and then we'll commence straight after this. Thank you so much.